So this video is going to be about psychics still. Okay, it's going to be about psychics, and I'm going to talk about remote viewing and some other things. And you might wonder, as a Christian, why I'm bringing up psychics a lot. Because psychics and soothsayers and diviners are in the Bible a lot, and God constantly warns against them. Okay, and people want to know why. They want to know why psychics are evil, and I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to give you logical reasons why psychics are not useful. Okay, and spiritual reasons. Okay, obviously Christians should just know not to go to them, but people want to know why. Okay, and so I've been trying to use logical explanations to why you're not supposed to go to a psychic. It's because, like in my previous video, in this video right here, they don't work. Their abilities don't work right. They're not 100%. Okay, they don't work right. Then you have to deal with the fact that some of them are probably just lying. Okay, they're fake. And you know what's kind of funny is because there are probably lots of people who are just like a little bit mentally ill, and they think that they're psychics. You know what I mean? They actually convince themselves that they're psychics, and they're like pretending to help you. And it's just a whole lot of red tape you have to go through. It's a lot of garbage you have to go through just to get some information that's not even useful. And so you just shouldn't do it, okay? Because that's what happens when you make deals with the devil, okay? You get some 2-bit janky garbage, okay? That's not even useful. Even the real psychics are not very good, okay? Remote viewers, they're kind of good at finding objects. I've noticed that they're better at finding just objects, okay? They're not very good at finding bodies, okay, dead people, and they're really bad about finding live people. That's something that I've noticed. Remote viewers are really bad about finding people who are alive still. They're terrible, okay? It's like they can only detect death or something, or inanimate objects. They're not very good at doing a whole bunch of things. Alright? And I'm going to talk, and towards the end of the video, I actually talked to a remote viewer. Okay? But I'll bring that up, and I'll talk. It wasn't a very long conversation, but I wanted to bring it up. Okay, towards the end of the video, I talked to a remote viewer once. Very briefly, okay? But I wanted to bring up that I believe remote viewing is in the Bible. Okay, God uses the perspective of it anyway. Okay, and I'll give you some Bible passages about that. I'll talk about that. So yeah, so this video is still about psychics and remote viewing and biblical stuff, and I'm gonna explain to you why spiritually it's not good to talk to these people. Okay, and I also wanted to do, like, I know it's very tempting to use psychics and stuff. Okay, but God always gives you an alternative options, okay? Because God still gives you tools and weapons if you want to find someone or accomplish the same goal. He gives you a option that's not going to the devil, okay? That's not tempted to make deals with the devil, okay? Because the devil doesn't work anyway. He gives you janky deals anyway, okay? Even towards the end of the video, I'll reveal to you, God gave you a creature that has abilities to locate missing people, good and bad. God gives you options, okay? Because I understand if your kids missing or something like that, it might be real tempting to go to a psychic, like when it's something serious like that, okay? I get the temptation why cops are tempted to use psychics, okay? But God has given you more reliable options than going to these janky psychics who don't even work, okay? All right, God gives you alternative. He gives you alternative tools. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna explain how remote viewing and the psychic stuff is actually ancient and old, and it's in many cultures. They're just not calling it remote viewing. Okay. They'll call it by something else. Okay. I also think, psychics and people who claim to see things or have extra senses, like a sixth sense, that is all under third eye awakening, okay? It's all under that weird third eye stuff. It's having your third eye open. You can say it's a pineal gland thing if you want, okay? It's all part of that, okay? Having your third eye open is still psychic stuff, okay? And that it's in the Bible, okay? And you might wonder where remote viewing is in the Bible. I believe it's with Balaam and the Israelites. Okay, remote viewing is with Balaam and the Israelites. Okay, and even remote viewing is even in, you know, that's why there's an eye on top of a pyramid, and I'm going to explain that right now. Okay, it's about seeing things using the medium world. Okay, using the spirit world to see things. Okay, the eye on top of the pyramid explains everything. And I'm going to explain to you why it's evil, because it's technically divination. And I'll explain to you what divination really means, okay? Alright. So, we're going to read some Bible passages, and we're going to talk about how Balaam, he was some sort of guy who had abilities, okay? He had his third eye open, and we're going to talk about that, okay? And we're going to talk about climbing the mountain and that why there's an eye on top of the pyramid or top of the mountain. Okay, eye is on top of the mountain. Okay. Okay, so I have to explain the symbolism to you, then I'm going to read it. Okay, so in the Bible, people are constantly climbing on top of mountains, and that's Moses climbed Mount Sinai. That's the obvious one. Jesus, when he died, he climbed on top. He had to climb the mountain, right? There's lots of symbolism in it, okay? And it's not just in the Bible, it's in a lot of cultures, okay? The Oracle of Delphi, her temple, her abilities were accessed from atop of a mountain. The Oracle of Delphi is very obvious. She lived on top of a mountain. That's where her palace was, okay? And so when it says someone's climbing a mountain, there's lots of symbolism in it. But one of them is that they're tapping into the spirit world, because the top of the mountain is where in between. It's the spirit world, but you have to realize the spirit world, God's there, but there's also other things there that are not good. Okay, and so when it says Balaam is climbing the top of a mountain, it means he's accessing the medium world. Okay, because the top of the mountain is the medium world. It's the place in between the earth and the sky and heaven. It's talking about the spirit world. When it says he's lifting up his eyes and he's climbing a mountain, there's symbolism in that he's accessing his powers. Okay, yeah, he's accessing his powers. Okay, so that's what he does. He goes on top of the mountain and he makes sacrifices up there. That means he's activating his third eye. You can use modern terms, or he's accessing his medium powers. Okay. And what is he trying to do? He's trying to see the Israelites, okay, because that is talking about remote viewing. He's trying to see where they are, okay, and he's accessing the top of the mountain. He's accessing his third eye, and I'll give you the Bible passages, okay. And it came to pass on the morrow that Balak took Balaam. So Balak is another evil guy. He was trying to hire Balaam and his powers to locate and curse the Israelites, and brought him up unto the high places of Baal. See, this is talking about climbing Satan's pyramid, Satan's abilities, okay? Baal. That thence he might see the utmost part of the people. See? It's talking about climbing that pyramid. It's talking about tapping into his powers. Okay? And there's some very obvious lines later I will read right now. And Balaam lifted up his eyes, and he saw Israel. See? This is not just talking about him opening his little eyes. It's talking about activating his eyes. This one's really obvious. And he took up his parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said. So his eyes were open. When it's saying his eyes, the man who has his eyes open, it's talking about he has an extra senses. He has extra senses, okay, like a sixth sense, okay. He hath said, which heard the words of God, which saw the vision of the Almighty, falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. Okay, so yeah, that's what that stuff means. It means he's accessing his abilities. He's using his abilities to see the Israelites. You can totally view this as remote viewing. He's trying to see where they are. But this is the funny part. This is the funny part right here. Well, let me back up and explain something. Let me reiterate something real fast, okay? So in this video, I went over some of the evidence that even the top remote viewers, these psychics or whatever, their remote viewing doesn't work. It doesn't work right. They don't see some of the buildings, or they see too many buildings, or they can kind of see where they are, but they're missing things, okay? It's so funny because that's exactly what happens to Balaam. It says right here, let's read it. His abilities didn't work right. Watch. And Balak and And Balak said unto him, Come, I pray thee, with me unto another place, from whence they may see them. Thou see but the uttermost part of them, and shall not see them all, and curse them from thence. Okay, so this is what's happening here. So they climb a couple different mountains, and they're trying to see the Israelites. But it says right here that they couldn't see them all. He couldn't see them all. That's why they keep climbing different mountains. They keep trying different ways to curse the Israelites and see all of the Israelites, because he couldn't see all of them. Okay, he couldn't see all of them. That is so funny, because that's exactly what happens when remote viewing. It's glitchy. You can't see them all. It doesn't work right. So you're going to try different ways. You're going to try different ways to activate it. Okay, and that's exactly what happens to Balaam. He couldn't see them all. That's some glitchy powers to me, like I just said, okay? And you might wonder why, okay? And in the Bible, so in this Balaam story, on his way on top of the mountain, God tries to stop him. You have to keep in mind that these people, they can still be saved and they need help, okay? Should you try to save psychics? Yes. Should you care about them? Yeah. Okay, they can be very frustrating. I know it's very easy to just say they're stupid and evil and I hate them. They just deserve to go to hell. But you have to realize that God is still trying to save these people. That's why when Balaam was on his way on top of the mountain, he sent an angel to him, right? He was trying to stop him from doing that. God was trying to stop him from doing that stuff, okay? Because he's gonna die and go to hell, okay? God will always, even God will try to save really bad Satanists sometimes, okay? He will try to save them, all right? And another thing is that sometimes this person who has to stop psychics is an actual person. It's supposed to be you, okay? You're not supposed to rely on supernatural beings to go stop people. You're the messenger. You're the one that's gonna have to say, hey, you have to stop doing this. You have to stop climbing Balls Mountain, man. You're going to be punished for doing this stuff, okay? Yes. And even across the board, psychics are evil. Even the ones who are fake and lying are evil. They're either getting some sort of demonic power, or they're lying and cheating, okay? Either way, it's evil. One's just not as supernatural as the other, but they both need help, right? And this is very important. So it talks about how God is there. He's climbing these mountains, and he says he meets God up there, and he talks to God, okay? And God tells him no, but then God allows it, okay? First of all, that God, the Bible has to do that, okay? Because one of the things that God is saying is that God is there restraining him, okay? That's why these psychics' powers don't work, okay? That's why but Balaam couldn't see them all, because God was there restraining him. He's restraining these powers. And you might wonder why. It's because that's a very good thing. All this world needs is a bunch of people seeing into rooms and stuff and seeing into other places whenever they want. 100%. God restrains them a little bit. He restrains them a lot, actually, which you should be very thankful for. Nothing good would happen if a psychic could literally go and see launch codes or set the magnetic field of the earth off, okay? Nothing good would happen. People are under the assumption that this stuff is just used for good, but most of the time it would be used to kill each other, okay? You're lucky God restrains it. You're lucky God doesn't allow psychics to have full power, okay? And sometimes I wonder if that's what the book of Revelation is about. So it says, in the book of Revelation, it says, every eye was opened, right? It says all the eyes were open. That could be talking about what this is talking about. Maybe at the end of the world, everyone has supernatural powers, just like they want. Okay, just like because you get brainwashed into thinking like X-Men or, whatever, the Marvel movies, like everyone just has supernatural powers like it's a good thing. But actually, if that would happen, you would all kill each other, okay? Because these powers are all janky and they don't work right. And half the time, the people can't even control them correctly. Okay, maybe that's what God means when he says, and the eyes are open. Okay, maybe that's how the world ends. Maybe everyone gets some janky devil third eye awakening and they all kill each other. Maybe that's what happens. They accidentally set off all the atom bombs. Okay, all these psychics are killing each other. Everyone turns psychic, just like you all wanted. Because God gives you what you want, but you don't realize what you want is a nightmare. Okay? And I really want you to know how dangerous that is. I'm going to bring up this Nina Kalgina woman again, okay? She was this Russian lady. She was working with the KGB. And she can bend. She claimed to move things with her mind, like metal and stuff like that, and other objects with her mind. Okay, and the United States had a guy like that. His name was Uri Geller. Okay, but I want to talk about this chick right here because she was scary, man. She claimed not only to be able to move things, okay, but she also claimed she also claimed to be able to stop hearts, okay. And luckily, though, it was only with really small animals like frogs and stuff like that. She could stop someone's heart, okay. And everyone thinks it's just so amazing. It's like a miracle. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. It is, okay. I really want you to know how dangerous that is. She even said she found out she had her abilities because when she was young, she would get mad and like metal would bend around her. That's how she discovered it, because she didn't realize that she was doing it. Okay, this just sounds like Magneto from the X-Men. Doesn't that happen in Magneto and the X-Men? Okay, but their abilities never got better. Like I think they were trying to get them to progress, like move bigger things, but it never worked. Thankfully. Okay, but that's exactly my point. How dangerous is that? What if a woman like this had a stroke? What if a woman like this had a nightmare? What if she just got really mad and couldn't control her anger and just killed everyone around her? Okay? You're lucky God stops these people. You're lucky God restrains your silly magical power people. Okay? Because most of the time, it's just dangerous, not cool. This isn't the X-Men. This isn't the movies. This is dangerous. Okay? So yeah, there's lots of reasons why these psychics and people with these abilities are just dangerous and not good. And they should be worrisome. Okay, and you're lucky God unplugged it. You're lucky God stopped it. Okay, all right. And I have to say that because people are still trying to bring remote viewers back up a little bit, and they try to say that they try to defend them, and there are some I noticed that there are some janky, low rate, as usual, remote viewers on like Instagram or TikTok. They claim they and I have to do my part to try to stop it and say how not cool it is and how silly that is. Okay, people, you're lucky you have privacy in your life. Why in the world do you want someone sneaking and seeing into your bedroom? Okay, that's creepy. Okay, you're under the assumption that these people have morals, but they don't. Okay, all right. And okay, I'm gonna bring up. So I gave you a bunch of spiritual and logical explanations why God said not to do this stuff. And this stuff has gone back to the beginning of time, and they're finally realizing that's just going to psychics. Most people don't go to psychics too much now. Okay, there are horoscopes and stuff like that, but people are not relying on psychics and mediums. Like Oracle of Delphi was basically the ruler of the world back then. Okay, she was like basically the ruler. Everyone was going to her. But I really want you to know how much time, energy, emotions, and money were wasted on these people. Okay? And you should have just listened to God in the first place. God told y'all since the beginning of time not to listen to them and not to talk to them. And like thousands of years later, it's finally clicking that people shouldn't go to mediums because they're a bunch of janky liars and con artists. Okay? Even the real ones don't even work right. Okay? And they're very vain, and they hide when they're not working right. They're evil. Okay? They're not good people most of the time. Okay? They don't seem very balanced. Okay? Alright? But anyway, let's talk about another reason why it's evil spiritually. Okay? Is because let's talk. We'll go ahead and use Balaam again. Balaam, the title God gives him is a diviner. Okay? God calls him a diviner. And I know the current definition of divination is just somebody who does witchcraft. Okay? But if you actually look into the etymology of diviner, it means to be divine. It means to act or take the place of God. You can even call mediums and psychics antichrist figures because they take the place of God. That's why Balaam met God on top of the mountain, because the symbolism behind that is he was acting like God. He was trying to take his place. Okay, because what does remote viewing sound like? Or what does astral projection sound like? It sounds a lot like omnipresence, doesn't it? It sounds like you're in two places at once, or multiple places at once. That stuff belongs to God. That's God's stuff. Okay? And if Satan's stealing it just a little bit, or people are stealing it just a little bit, okay, it's evil. Because you don't know what you're doing, obviously. Okay? And you don't have the morals to actually use that stuff for any kind of good. It never works right. Okay? It's and in the Bible, it talks about how Satan, he said, I will be like the Most High. That's divination. Okay, and it's not just talking about Satan, it's talking about people. I don't need God. I can see where everything is at. I know where everyone is at. I can do it. I can take God's place. Who needs God when I can see where everyone's at right now? Okay? And they obviously have another, and that's divination. It's Satan saying, I will be like the Most High, but it's not just talking about Satan, it's talking about people. You might wonder what these scientists and stuff and these remote viewers, how they explain scientifically how they can do this stuff. And the scientific explanation they have is that these people are really sensitive and can tap into the electromagnetic fields of the earth. Okay, that's the scientific explanation as to why they can do that. That's why they can bend metal, and they're like kind of like human sonar. They can tap into the electromagnetic field of the earth. Okay? Even if that's true, that's still divination, because humans shouldn't do that. God controls the electromagnetic fields of the earth, not you. It's still divination. Even if you don't think it's a demon doing it, it's still divination because God controls this stuff, not you. Alright? It's still divination. Alright? Okay? People acting like God. God can do whatever he wants. Okay? This cross on top of the mountain, it's the same thing as eye on top of the pyramid, and people are like, well, God does witchcraft. No, okay, God's allowed to do whatever he wants. All right, God can do whatever he wants. He's the only one that has the ability to be omnipresent. Okay, all right, you're acting like God. You're acting like the devil. Okay, he's only there. There's things that you just don't understand. Humans do not understand about the spirit world. So just leave them to God. Okay, don't do it yourself. It's divination. That's a true definition of divination. It's to pretend to be divine. Okay? Keep your eyeballs in your head. Keep your soul in your body for now. Okay? When you die, God might do something with you. God might take your soul out of your body or something. That's up to him. He's the one doing it. Okay? And one more thing. They have, I will just go ahead and use the X-Men. They have remote viewing in the movies. They just don't call it remote viewing. Like when Magneto, the professor goes into that machine, Cerebro, that's remote viewing, okay? Of course, it's dolled up like it's really cool. It'd be really cool to do that. No, okay? It's divination. It's witchcraft. It's evil, okay? Anton LaVey said he could do the same thing. It's demonic. It's evil. It's witchcraft, okay? And they, maybe the Oracle of Delphi was some sort of remote viewer or someone who could astral project, okay? And my point is that people think this stuff is like newish, but it's not. It can go back to the beginning of time, but they're not going to use terms like remote viewing and stuff like that. There was even time travel in the ancient past, but they're not calling it time travel. Okay, they call it by other terms, and you have to just think. Okay. Anyway, and then I will tell you my very brief conversation with a remote viewer. Okay, they have remote viewing in many cultures. It's just witchcraft that goes across everywhere. Okay, in many cultures. But unfortunately, yeah, it's in Native American stuff. Okay, again, they're not calling it remote viewing, though. Anyway, so in the Southwest, there's a problem with a bunch of these girls going missing. Maybe you've heard of it. There's lots of Native American girls going missing on the reservation. And is it supernatural? Maybe. Is it like people think it's aliens? Some people are just being lost and kidnapped and on drugs and on the streets. It's probably a combination of all three, to be honest. But anyway, so sometimes these families will hire medicine men to try to locate these people. Okay, and I briefly talked to one of these remote viewing medicine men. Okay. It was a very brief conversation, and I didn't go up and talk to this guy and ask him questions. This guy literally just came up and started talking to me. Okay? And I think God did it on purpose, because I may have been the only person in that guy's life to tell him to stop doing that. Okay? Because people then when it starts being a part of someone's culture, it's for some reason people don't want to stop it. They think it's a good thing, okay? And there are plenty of Native Americans who are Christians. Okay, there's a lot of Native Americans who are Christians. This doesn't have anything to do with race. This has to do with a very false, dangerous belief, demonic belief. Okay, it's not holy, it's bad. Okay, it's glorified on the movies, and it's glorified in people's cultures. Okay, so he came up and talked. He started talking to me. I met him at the store. Okay, he was just there, and he started talking to me, and he claimed to be some sort of medicine man, and he was looking for one of these missing girls that just recently, this happened a few years ago, so at the time it was recent, who had just gone missing. And I have no idea if somebody hired him to do that or if he just decided to do it himself, because I know some of the families go to the medicine men to try to locate these women, and it never works. Okay, it doesn't work. They've never, as far as I know, they've never helped them find anyone. Okay. And he said that he used some sort of seer stone, some sort of seer magic stone, which also goes back to the beginning of time. Okay, it's like the same thing when witches use a crystal ball. Okay, or when Professor X goes inside his big old crystal ball. Okay, it's not original. It's just a different way of using it. He had some sort of seer stone, and I wasn't even talking. I was like, okay. All right, man. And then he's like, and the only information he told me about where this missing girl was is that he sees her running behind a building or around the corner of a building, which is very not useful. Okay. All right. And I have no idea if the Navajo police or the police officers use these people. That's always up for debate, because sometimes they use them off the books. You know what I mean? And I have no idea if they do that in other places too. Like, I don't know if police officers are off the books using mediums to try to locate people, but they shouldn't, of course. Okay. And so that was my very brief encounter with a Native American medicine man remote viewer, and I actually felt very bad for him. Okay, because I know it's very tempting just to get mad at these people, and sometimes I do. Sometimes I get very frustrated with people who do witchcraft, especially if they're like purposely lying to people. Those people sometimes make me more mad. Like con artists who are purposely lying to people. They almost make me more, because they're purposely lying. Some of these people who think they're mediums and they're whatever, they might actually think they're genuinely helping you, but they're not. They just don't realize that. They just can't admit it. They just can't see that they're not helping anyone. Anyway, and you know, it was a very brief conversation, but yeah, I did have a brief encounter with a remote viewer. He said he used a seer stone, and he briefly told me where he saw where she was, or what happened to her, and he doesn't know where or when. But all he said was he saw her run around a building, and then she was taken or something. That's it. I just wanted to add that on here since I'm talking about remote viewing, and that's not very useful. And I'm just like, bro, you need to repent and you need to stop doing this. It's not helping you at all. Throw away your seer stone. Throw away your divination stuff. Okay. And one more thing I wanted to bring up in the video. God gives you tools other than using deals with the devil to find missing people and accomplish the same goals. He gives you many tools. He gives you many weapons against the workers of iniquity. Okay? He gives you everything you need to help you. Okay? Instead of making deals with the devil, like using a medium. Okay? For example, is it a sin to use a helicopter to find a missing person or criminal? No, it's not a sin. Is it a sin to use drones to find missing people? No. Okay? Is it a sin to use a map? Is it a sin to use a satellite? That's technically remote viewing, as I've said in this video right here. Okay? The machines kind of replaced the purpose of these psychics half the time anyway. And it's not a sin to use them. You can use science and technology to find missing people instead of using the devil. Okay? Alright? God gives you the tools. There's no reason to make deals with the devil. And it's obviously a lot more useful. You can use criminal profiling. Okay? You can use, and I'll reveal to you the supernatural, and I'll reveal to you the creature that God gave you to detect criminals and missing kids. God gave you a being that has extra senses or super senses, that's not a psychic, that can go and detect lost people. And that is dogs. Okay? Can you use a dog to go locate missing kids, missing people, even criminals? Can you use dogs? Can you use helicopters? Can you use heat-seeking technology? Can you use maps? Can you use satellites? Yes. Look at all this stuff you can use instead of using a stupid devil medium. God gave you the tools. He gave you everything you need. Okay? I mean, are police officers, are dogs more reliable than a con artist medium? Yes. Then just use a dog, okay? And it's so funny because even in the Balaam story, Balaam's donkey had more common sense than he did. So, yeah, the hero in the story is God and the angel, and it's Christians, and it's the animals. Okay, sometimes the animals are more reliable than using a Balaam or a medium, okay? So yeah, this one's for you, Balaam's donkey and the dogs. And another thing is, it's just lazy for you to use a remote viewer. How lazy police work is that? How lazy is it of everyone who's looking for these people to just use a remote viewer? You're gonna have to get up and go look for them. God gave you tools to go look for them, but you're gonna have to go do it yourself. Don't be lazy. I can't imagine how lazy it would be if remote viewers worked better. If they worked even halfway better than they do now, I can't imagine how lazy the police work would be. Okay, and I'm not saying this is true of all police officers, but sometimes the police officers are really lazy and they don't want to go look for things. Okay, I can't imagine how much worse it would be if they were just like, oh, just use a remote viewer. I'll just stay home today. I'll just use a magic. I'll use a devil. There's a 50-50 chance you probably won't find it, but it's still better than me getting up and doing it myself. You know what I mean? Get up. It's a novel idea, but you're going to have to get up and go look for these people. God gave you tools to go find them. Okay? You're going to have to do the legwork. I know. The devil's shortcuts are never good. The devil always gives you some janky shortcuts. Stop trying to take them. Okay? They're baloney. Alright? Alright. So yeah, the moral of this video is stay off God's mountain. Stay out of his business without his permission. Okay? Don't try to do anything weird like going astral project or remote viewing or going to a psychic to see into the other side without God's permission. Okay? Alright. And that's the point of this video and why it's not good to talk to psychics, because there's very obvious reasons why you shouldn't. Okay. Anyway, so please think about this stuff, guys, and thank you.